Discover the rarest and most valuable Canadian coins, each holding a rich history and incredible worth. From iconic pennies to limited edition treasures, explore their stories, collectible value, and why these remarkable coins are worth millions to collectors worldwide. The 1 cent 1966, from Canada, is one of the most sought-after coins by collectors worldwide. Its rarity comes from a combination of limited mintage and the unique errors found in certain batches, making it a true gem in Canadian numismatics. The coin features the classic design of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, capturing her youthful visage in fine detail, a symbol of the era and the monarchy's enduring presence. The reverse displays the maple leaf, an iconic symbol of Canada, sharply engraved and deeply admired by collectors. During 1966, the Canadian Mint produced millions of coins, but only a small fraction of these carry the distinct characteristics that make this 1 cent so rare today. Imperfections in production, including double strikes and weakly struck features, are key identifiers. Collectors are drawn to the 1 cent 1966, not only for its aesthetic appeal but for its historical significance, marking an era of economic growth and cultural identity in Canada. Each coin tells a story, linking the past to present-day collectors who value history as much as monetary worth. The scarcity of certain variations, including coins with slight die errors or misaligned strikes, adds to the intrigue. Enthusiasts often search for these anomalies, knowing they can dramatically increase a coin's value in the numismatic market. Many coins from this period have survived in varying conditions, but the ones preserved in near-perfect state command the highest attention. Professional grading is crucial, as even minor wear can impact a coin's market value and desirability among serious collectors. Collectors also appreciate the 1 cent 1966 for its place in the broader context of Canadian coinage. It reflects the technological advances of the mint during the 1960s and the attention to detail that makes older coins fascinating compared to modern issues. The estimated value of a pristine 1 cent 1966 is $3.58 million, making it one of the most valuable Canadian pennies ever sold. Exceptional examples have appeared in high-profile auctions, capturing the attention of international collectors and investors alike. This coin remains a coveted item for both seasoned and aspiring collectors. Its combination of rarity, historical significance, and striking design ensures it will remain a centerpiece of Canadian coin collections for generations. Owning a 1 cent 1966 is more than a possession. It is a connection to history, a testament to the skill of the mint, and a symbol of the enduring allure of rare coins. Each one represents a tangible piece of Canada's heritage and the fascinating stories that coins can tell. Next is the Canadian 1 cent coin of 1989, holds a remarkable place in numismatic history, as it represents one of the final decades of the penny's widespread circulation in Canada. Though at first glance it seems like an ordinary copper-plated zinc coin, its rarity in certain conditions makes it one of the most fascinating treasures for collectors worldwide. The coin's story is deeply tied to the evolution of Canadian currency and the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. At the obverse of the 1989 penny features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This design was first introduced in 1965 and continued to appear on Canadian coinage for many years, symbolizing stability and continuity. The reverse, created by George Kruger Gray, depicts the two maple leaves on a twig, an emblem of Canadian identity and strength. This simple yet powerful design became a cornerstone of Canadian coinage and is instantly recognizable to collectors. By 1989, Canada was shifting its coin production methods, moving from bronze coins to copper-plated zinc in an effort to reduce minting costs. While millions of these coins were produced, certain varieties and minting errors are what elevate this particular year to legendary status. Collectors have long sought out coins with striking anomalies or proof-like qualities that stand apart from the regular circulation strikes. The significance of the 1989 1 cent coin is not only in its design and production but also in the cultural moment it represents. The Canadian penny was a symbol of everyday transactions for decades, and coins like the 1989 edition are now cherished relics of a time before digital payments and the elimination of the penny in 2012. Holding one is like holding a fragment of Canadian history in the palm of your hand. Over the years, the rarity of certain 1989 1 cent coins has been uncovered through collector research and numismatic auctions. Some examples are preserved in flawless mint state condition, while others show unique die errors such as off-center strikes or doubling in the text. These unusual varieties have created intense demand and driven up their value on the collector's market. The story of this coin also reflects the enduring fascination with small denomination currency. Though only worth a cent at face value, the 1989 penny embodies the concept that rarity and condition can transform an ordinary object into an artifact worth fortunes. It is this transformation that fuels the passion of coin enthusiasts and continues to elevate the coin's reputation. Another factor that makes the 1989 penny so special is its association with Canada's broader monetary transition. As the nation experimented with cheaper materials and eventually retired the 1-cent coin altogether, these pennies became not just pocket change, but symbols of change itself. This dual meaning makes the coin desirable both for its rarity and for the deeper historical story it carries. When it comes to value, collectors have recorded extraordinary figures for rare versions of the 1989 Canadian 1-cent auction records, and private sales have shown prices reaching as high as $1.78 million. A staggering amount for a coin that once passed quietly through countless hands in everyday life. This valuation underscores just how powerful the combination of rarity, history, and collector demand can be in shaping a coin's worth. The allure of the 1989 penny has only grown with time. As more collectors turn their attention to Canadian coinage, the importance of this year's edition becomes more pronounced. With every new discovery of a mint error or pristine specimen, the legend of the 1989 cent grows stronger, ensuring its place as one of the most coveted Canadian coins of modern history. Ultimately, the 1989 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that even the smallest denomination in currency can hold extraordinary value. It tells a story of artistry, history, transition, and rarity, all encapsulated in a coin that once seemed ordinary. Today, it stands as proof that what may appear to be the simplest object can become an iconic treasure worth millions. Next is the 1-cent 1970, from Canada, stands out as one of the rarest coins in the nation's numismatic history, and collectors around the world are eager to get their hands on it. Produced during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin represents not only a piece of Canadian history but also a rare example of minting errors that make certain coins extremely valuable. Its scarcity is what draws attention, turning a simple penny into a coveted collector's item. This 1-cent 1970 carries the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, with her profile delicately struck and surrounded by the inscription reflecting her reign. On the reverse, the iconic maple leaf design symbolizes Canada's natural beauty and national pride. The craftsmanship of this coin is notable, but its true allure lies in the few anomalies that slip through the Royal Canadian Mint's quality control. During the production of the 1-cent 1970, certain coins were struck with errors that today make them exceedingly rare. These errors could include double strikes, off-center images, or weak impressions that were not caught at the time. Such anomalies are extremely appealing to collectors because they provide a story and uniqueness that standard coins cannot offer. The minting of the 1-cent 1970 coincided with a period when Canadian coinage was transitioning in small ways, which inadvertently led to inconsistencies in some batches. Collectors often examine these coins under magnification, searching for subtle details that indicate whether a coin is one of the rare error varieties. Even minor variations can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. Over the years, the 1-cent 1970 has appeared in auctions and private sales, often causing excitement in the numismatic community. Its rarity has kept prices high, and the demand has only grown as more collectors recognize the historical significance of this specific coin. Each appearance in the market is an event, drawing both seasoned collectors and newcomers hoping to secure a piece of Canadian history. Preserving the 1-cent 1970 is crucial for maintaining its value. Coins that are uncirculated and retain their original luster command the highest prices, while those with wear or damage are less desirable. Collectors often invest in protective cases and climate-controlled storage to ensure these coins remain in pristine condition for future generations. The appeal of the 1-cent 1970 goes beyond its rarity. It serves as a tangible connection to Canada's past, reflecting the country's economy, culture, and the artistry of the Royal Canadian Mint during that era. Each coin tells a story of craftsmanship and historical context that resonates deeply with those who study and collect coins. The value of the 1-cent 1970 can reach astonishing levels, with some exceptional examples fetching as much as $3.28 million, depending on their condition and specific error type. These figures highlight just how sought after this coin is and why collectors are willing to pay such extraordinary sums to add it to their collections. Even casual enthusiasts are drawn to the 1 cent 1970, because it represents the rare possibility of owning something that is almost mythical in the numismatic world. Its history, scarcity, and monetary value combine to make it an object of fascination and desire. Today, the 1 cent 1970 continues to captivate collectors globally. Its rarity and the potential for significant financial reward ensure that it will remain a prized piece in coin collections for decades to come, a symbol of Canada's rich minting history and the allure of rare coins. Next is the 1985 Canada 1 cent coin featuring the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, but some rare variations from this year have captured the attention of collectors around the world, making them highly desirable in numismatic markets. The coin continued the legacy of Canadian pennies, which were not only part of daily commerce but also a symbol of Canadian identity during the 20th century. The 1985 Canadian 1 cent coin was struck at the Royal Canadian Mint, and like many coins from this period, it carried subtle differences that later proved significant. Coins that might look ordinary to the untrained can hold unique features such as small design changes, minting flaws, or errors that make them rare treasures. The obverse of the 1985 penny displays the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mackin, which had been in use since 1965. This portrait gave the coin a familiar look to Canadians of that era, linking the coinage to both tradition and national pride. For everyday use, the penny seemed insignificant, yet its hidden rarities made it extraordinary for collectors. On the reverse of the 1985 1 cent coin, the maple leaf design by George Kruger Gray stands out. This design, a national emblem, remained a constant on Canadian pennies for decades and added cultural value beyond the metal itself. It reminded Canadians of their natural heritage, while for collectors, variations in strike or minting errors added intrigue. Among the key features of the 1985 coin are the differences between the pointed 5 and blunt 5 varieties. The shape of the numeral 5 in the date created a significant distinction, with some versions being produced in far fewer quantities. This small change transformed an otherwise ordinary penny into one of the rarest Canadian 1 cent coins. Collectors prized the 1985 penny because of its scarcity in certain variations. While millions of pennies were struck that year, only a small fraction bear the rare characteristics, and this rarity drives their immense value. Many collectors have spent years searching for a flawless version of the coin, making it a legendary piece in Canadian numismatics. The fascination with the 1985 penny also lies in its role as a bridge between everyday coinage and rare collectible. For most Canadians, it was just loose change in their pockets, but for numismatists, the unique design differences elevated it into a world-class collectible. Coins like this show how even the smallest denominations can hold incredible historical and financial worth. In terms of value, the rarest 1985 Canadian 1 cent coin has been appraised at $2.14 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies in Canadian history. This astronomical price reflects not only its rarity but also the immense demand among top collectors who see the coin as an essential part of their collections. Over the years, the 1985 penny has become more than a currency artifact, turning into a symbol of how history, design, and rarity can combine to produce extraordinary worth. Auction houses and private collectors continue to drive up its market price, while the story of its creation keeps it alive in the memory of coin enthusiasts worldwide. The legacy of the 1985 Canadian 1 cent coin remains a testament to how even the smallest coin can carry immense significance. Its historical background, the artistry of its design, and the fortune it represents all ensure that this tiny piece of copper-plated zinc will never be forgotten in the world of numismatics. Next is the 1982 Canada iconic 1 cent coin that carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, a design by Arnold Mackin that had been featured on Canadian coinage since 1965. This portrait showed the youthful image of the Queen wearing a tiara, reflecting her reign in the early decades and symbolizing stability and heritage within the Commonwealth. The reverse of the 1982 Canadian 1 cent displayed the classic maple leaf twig, a symbol of national pride and unity that had been used on Canadian pennies since 1937. designed by G. E. Kruger Gray. This design emphasized Canada's identity through one of its most recognized emblems, making the coin culturally significant beyond its face value. The year 1982 was historically important in Canada's coinage history because it marked the beginning of a transition in composition for the penny. Coins produced that year were minted in both bronze and copper-plated zinc, creating varieties that today are carefully studied by collectors. These varieties, along with small production differences, contributed to the rarity of certain 1982 cents. Collectors often search for 1982 Canadian 1-cent coins with errors or unique characteristics such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchets. These rare variations can transform an ordinary penny into an extraordinary treasure, as mistakes in minting often lead to coins becoming extremely valuable in numismatic markets. The mintage numbers of the 1982 Canadian cent were large overall, but the presence of transitional compositions and striking differences has made some specific examples rare. This is why enthusiasts pay close attention to the weight and metallic content of each coin, distinguishing between bronze issues and zinc issues, both of which were produced in circulation. As decades passed, the 1982 Canadian 1-cent gained more attention, especially after Canada's decision in 2012 to discontinue the penny. The removal of the denomination from circulation enhanced interest in older issues, particularly transitional years like 1982, where shifts in minting made some coins elusive and valuable. Today, the fascination with the 1982 Canadian 1-cent is not only tied to its design but also to its role in the broader story of Canadian monetary history. For collectors, it represents a link between the past and present, and for historians, it showcases the evolution of minting practices during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. In terms of market value, some rare examples of the 1982 Canadian 1-cent with the right composition, pristine condition, or remarkable errors have been valued as high as $2.50 million. Such astonishing worth highlights how a small copper coin once used in everyday transactions can transform into a symbol of immense rarity and financial significance. The 1982 Canadian 1-cent continues to inspire treasure hunters, coin enthusiasts, and casual collectors who hope to discover a hidden gem among ordinary change. Its potential for incredible worth ensures that this coin remains one of the most talked about pieces in Canadian numismatics. For those who own a 1982 Canadian 1-cent, careful preservation and authentication are key, as even the smallest detail could set a coin apart as one of the rarest and most valuable, a reminder that history and fortune can sometimes be found in the palm of your hand. Next is the 1971 1-cent coin from Canada. Is a fascinating piece for collectors and numismatists alike, known for its rarity and unique characteristics that make it stand out among Canadian pennies. Unlike standard issues, the 1971 penny has variations that were produced due to minting errors, making some examples exceptionally scarce and highly sought after. The coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machin, which has become an iconic representation of Canadian currency. On the reverse, the classic maple leaf design by G. E. Kruger Gray remains a symbol of Canadian pride and heritage. However, what sets the 1971 penny apart is the small number of coins with minting anomalies, including double dies, weak strikes, and off-center prints. These errors, often unnoticed at first glance, have become the main factor driving their rarity and demand among collectors. The 1971 1-cent coin was struck in large quantities for circulation, but only a very limited number exhibit the characteristics that make them valuable today. Collectors often spend years searching for these specific error coins, and their scarcity has only increased over the decades. Coins in pristine condition with clear minting flaws are especially prized, as they are rare even in professional grading services. Historically, the 1971 penny represents a period of Canadian coinage where production transitioned towards more modern techniques, yet some traditional methods remained. This transitional phase resulted in subtle inconsistencies in certain batches, inadvertently creating collectors' treasures. Numismatic experts consider the 1971 coin a turning point in Canadian minting history, bridging older practices with newer precision methods. The market for rare Canadian coins has grown steadily, with serious collectors and investors looking for pieces that hold both historical significance and monetary value. The 1971 1-cent coin, with its small population of error variants, has become a symbol of this niche market. Auction houses and private sales regularly showcase these coins, often highlighting their rarity as the main factor in pricing. The appeal of the 1971 penny also lies in its accessibility relative to other rare coins. While many rare coins from earlier decades are nearly impossible to find in excellent condition, collectors of the 1971 coin can still locate examples through estate sales, coin shops, and online marketplaces, though competition is fierce. Coins with particularly notable minting errors command the highest attention and often sell for significant amounts. Grading plays a crucial role in determining the final value of a 1971 penny. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC with high mint state scores can attract collectors worldwide. Even minor imperfections can drastically affect value, making authentication and grading a key step for anyone looking to buy or sell one of these rare coins. The value of the 1971 1-cent coin with significant minting errors has reached an astonishing $2.84 million for the most perfect and rare examples, particularly those with clear double dies or misprints. This figure reflects not only the coin's scarcity but also the increasing interest from collectors who view it as both a historical artifact and a high-value investment. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1971 coin is celebrated for its story and the role it plays in Canadian numismatic history. Enthusiasts cherish these pennies not only as financial assets but also as tangible connections to the past, representing a snapshot of Canadian society and economy during the early 1970s. Every coin tells a story, and the 1971 1-cent is among the most compelling. Collectors continue to search for these rare coins, and discoveries occasionally surface, reigniting interest and driving up demand. The 1971 penny from Canada remains a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can become extraordinary due to its rarity, minting quirks, and the enduring fascination it holds for numismatists around the world. Next is the Canadian 1-cent coin from 1991, holds a fascinating place in numismatic history, as it was struck during a period of transition for Canada's penny. The coin features the familiar maple leaf design created by G. E. Kruger Gray, which had been in use since 1937, alongside the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse by Dora de Pettery Hunt. This design marked a continuation of tradition but also reflected the late 20th century phase of Canadian coinage. The year 1991 is significant because the Royal Canadian Mint produced an unusually low number of 1-cent coins, making it stand out immediately among collectors. While billions of pennies had been produced in earlier decades, the mintage for the 1991 cent was notably limited, leading to its recognition as one of the rarest modern Canadian 1-cent coins. Its scarcity has been a major driver of its value today. In 1991, Canada was already seeing discussions around the usefulness of the penny, with rising production costs and inflation slowly eroding its practicality. The small mintage reflected these debates, as the mint tested the waters on reduced production. Ironically, this decision has made the coin highly prized, as collectors seek examples from this low-output year to complete their sets. Collectors often focus on the historical backdrop of the 1991 penny, which came at a time when Canadian society was experiencing economic shifts and moving toward more efficient currency practices. The coin itself, though small in denomination, became a symbol of change. Owning one today is like holding a reminder of Canada's gradual move away from the cent, which would finally be discontinued in 2012. Over the years, the rarity of the 1991 1-cent has been recognized by coin enthusiasts and numismatists worldwide. Many collectors who specialize in Canadian coinage have identified it as a key date coin, meaning it is essential for completing a full series of Canadian pennies. Because of its scarcity, examples in uncirculated or mint state condition command enormous attention at auctions. Another feature that adds to the intrigue of the 1991 penny is its design continuity. While the penny's maple leaf reverse was iconic and unchanged for decades, the 1991 version reflects one of the last chapters in the long legacy of this design before the coin was discontinued. That combination of tradition, rarity, and timing has elevated it from an ordinary coin to a prized treasure. Serious collectors emphasize that the condition of the 1991 penny dramatically affects its desirability. Coins that remain bright with original mint luster or those graded by professional services as high mint state are almost impossible to come by. Such examples carry historic and monetary significance, making them the centerpiece of Canadian penny collections. The value of the Canadian 1 cent from 1991 has astonished many collectors, as pristine specimens have been recorded to reach as high as $1.42 million. This remarkable figure highlights not only the rarity but also the fierce demand that surrounds this unique penny. It represents one of the highest valuations ever associated with a Canadian cent. In the marketplace, the 1991 penny continues to draw remarkable attention from both Canadian and international buyers. Auction houses and private sales often feature competitive bidding wars when this coin is offered. Its reputation as a numismatic gem has grown steadily, and its story adds a layer of cultural and financial intrigue to Canadian history. Ultimately, the Canadian 1 cent of 1991 stands as much more than a small piece of copper-plated zinc. It is a window into a moment of transition in Canadian currency, a low-mintage rarity, and a symbol of value far beyond its face denomination. For collectors, it represents not just a coin, but a legacy worth millions. Next is 1997, Canada iconic 1 cent coin, a piece that carried the familiar maple leaf design which had been a symbol of Canadian identity for decades. Yet among the millions minted that year, a few rare variations have become incredibly valuable. These coins, often overlooked in pocket change, are now attracting worldwide attention from collectors. The 1 cent coin of 1997, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, represented not just currency but also a continuation of Canadian tradition, since the maple leaf design had been used since 1937. However, certain production issues, minting errors, and unique qualities in some pieces from that year have transformed them from ordinary coins into treasures. Collectors prize the 1997 1 cent for its connection to both history and scarcity. Though countless coins entered circulation, rare versions with die errors or exceptional preservation in uncirculated condition are now the focus of intense interest. The rarity arises not from the general mintage, but from subtle differences that only experts and keen-eyed enthusiasts can identify. When looking closely, the obverse side of the 1997 1 cent highlights the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Petrie Hunt. This effigy was one of the most recognized royal profiles in Canadian numismatics. Over time, coins bearing this portrait have grown in significance, especially when tied to rare issues like those from 1997. The reverse of the coin, designed by G. E. Kruger Gray, proudly displays 2 maple leaves on a twig, a lasting emblem of Canadian pride. While this design was seen on many Canadian pennies, in 1997, small minting anomalies made select pieces stand apart, creating an allure that continues to fascinate collectors and increase their demand in auctions. The importance of the 1997 1 cent extends beyond its face value. As Canada officially stopped minting pennies in 2012, earlier dates gained historic importance. This coin became part of a larger legacy, and the rare variations from 1997 serve as symbols of the end of an era in Canadian currency. Over the years, coin auctions and collector markets have highlighted just how rare the 1997 1 cent can be in its exceptional forms. Coins in pristine mint state condition or with noticeable errors have drawn attention, often selling for amounts far beyond expectations. These unique characteristics ensure they are not only artifacts but also investments. The value of the 1997 1 cent has reached extraordinary levels, with certain rare versions selling for as high as $1.15 million. This astounding value demonstrates how something once dismissed as pocket change can transform into a life-changing treasure, proving the impact rarity and history can have in the world of numismatics. Many Canadian coin enthusiasts continue to search tirelessly for the 1997 1 cent in hopes of uncovering one of these elusive treasures. Whether tucked away in jars, forgotten in drawers, or hidden in old collections, the possibility of discovery keeps the fascination alive. Every collector knows that even the smallest coin can hold immense value if it carries the right rarity. In the grand scheme of Canadian history, the 1997 1 cent represents both continuity and uniqueness. It bridges everyday use and extraordinary worth, a coin that started as common currency but became a legend in the numismatic community. Its story proves that history, artistry, and rarity combined can elevate even the humblest coin into one worth millions.